What's up, Internet? How are you guys doing today? My name's Josh, and welcome to Little Eagle Gaming. Today, we're going to play some Dark and Light, and we're going to talk about some things. So, the first thing I want to say is, unfortunately, the first clip for this episode was corrupted, and I am unable to show you basically the first 5 or 6 minutes of gameplay on the server. So, we're going to kind of correct that by doing things here on single player. So, on the server, I picked the dwarves. It's the right side here. And within this, you can see that there is a lot of customization options. You've got a lot of bars just that change everything. You can make your guy, dark or, crazy colors. I'm pretty sure there's like a blue hue in here somewhere. Yeah, you can make him look undead, give him a huge neck, just gigantic, right? Just everything. Make his arms just stupid long. Make him look just crazy, right? Anyway, the template that I used, I actually just went with a generic. He looks kind of like the guy in the Hobbit movies, the Oakenshield guy. Anyway, we're going to go with a generic name that it generates, and we're going to go ahead and load into the Dwarven City, because I do want to show you guys kind of the first few moments of the game here and what starting off looks like, and then we'll cut to a short montage that kind of shows where we got from, the Dwarven City up to our base, and I'll talk about some things if this game would ever load. Thank you. It's going to take a few minutes. I'm stuck in the ground. Okay, so a couple of things that I do want to point out for you guys right off the bat is this game has a console very similar to Ark Survival Evolved. There's going to be a lot of parallels to Ark. I think later on in this episode, I say that I'm not going to compare it to Ark, but it's just so similar to Ark in so many ways that I can't help but compare. However, the console is not opened with the tab key on your keyboard. It is open with the plus sign over on the numpad. So you hit that. You can type in your gamma 3, increase your gamma, just like that. You can go T.max FPS 60. And granted, I'm not exceeding 60 FPS, but that will help your GPU load while you're playing this game. Because it's built in the Unreal Engine, it can be crazy on graphics cards. Definitely use the T.max FPS command any chance you get. The others are R.bloom quality, check the spelling, 0, and R.light shafts 0. Just like old school Ark a couple of years ago. Speaking of, Snail Games actually bought Studio Wildcards a couple of years... Wildcards? Snail Games bought Studio Wildcard a couple of years ago, and so I think a lot of the framework of this game is kind of based off of Ark. I'm getting a lot of frame rate choppiness right now, and it's probably because I'm playing in single player. A lot of these games that are built on the Unreal Engine, when you play them in single player, they tend to have that frame rate choppiness. I'm sitting in the 20s for frame rate right now. I can assure you guys on the server, which is free to join, by the way, the link is going to be in the description below. You guys are welcome to come and play on the server and do stuff and hang out with us. I've got a couple of other YouTubers that are going to be joining at some point in time, hopefully, holding you guys to it. Anyway, there's going to be, video creation. It's PvP enabled. We're going to be, just going ham on the other factions because, we want to be dwarves, and we definitely want to get the dragon that's up there. Pretty sure that's the class mount for the dwarves once you get elected king or something to that effect. Either way, so your first moments when you load into the game, the first things that I typically do is I check my keybind. So I go escape and I hit options and I go down to key bindings and I learn everything. I tie everything into where I want it. As you'll see, like some of my whistles are set to similar keybinds to Ark. It's just what's most familiar for me, that kind of stuff. And then when you come over here, you can see these bushes. It says left click to harvest. You hit it and you get some grass and some berries. These are, I'm pretty sure these are vanilla vanilla rates. The server that we have has slightly boosted rates. One of the things we wanted on the server was a Monster Hunter feel. So, you know, your gathering rates and all of that stuff are increased. Your player health, your player melee, those kind of things are increased so that you can do more damage to the monsters that are out there, because otherwise, even on vanilla Dark and Light, your tamed creatures, for some reason, until you get into the higher tiers, tend to be a bit more squishy. So, as you can see on the left side of the screen, there's the thing that says, you know, crafting an item, craft a rune of light. It's just kind of a guide. Once you get familiar with the game, you're probably not going to be following that guide too much, but it is it's a quest line, but it's not like a hard set quest line, anything like Skyrim or any of those other games where, you know, you're like, I have to follow this quest to get a reward. Really, all that it is it's teaching you how to play the game. So definitely follow the quests and, you know, learn from what it's teaching you. The one critique that I have on that is, you know, once you get to a point where you feel like you're comfortable with the game, you should have the ability to turn off the quests, and apparently you don't have that ability, at least not that I've found. So if you guys do know a way to turn off quests, by all means, drop those comments in the section below and let me know how to turn these dang quests off. Because you get to a point where you go to task, and there's so many things in here. There's all these different quests where it's just like, you know, maybe if I wanted to know what Fate Mastery is, you know, okay, joining a house, Renowned Legend, okay, sure, cool. Maybe I would want to activate that quest at a later date. But otherwise, it kind of just takes up screen space, and I'm not a big fan of it. Speaking of screen space, on the bottom you'll see the hotbar. I talk about it later in the video, but I want to talk about it now too. You can hit your Alt button and you switch between your hotbars. So let me go ahead and place this on that primary hotbar, and then you switch, and now it's gone. If you're paying attention at the bottom, might have been like a magic trick to you guys. Let me show you one more time. I'm on hotbar number 2, and I hit Alt, and it goes back to hotbar number 1. There is my little Tinkerbell fairy light source thing. So yeah, that's what it's asking me to craft. I'm not going to do that because I kind of want to just explain the quick synopsis of everything that's going on here right now. So it's going to tell you to craft the Rune of Light. It's going to tell you to cast the Rune of Light. That way you can see during the night. So if I go time of day and it's nighttime, if I set the gamma back to vanilla settings, you can see as my frame rate gets stupid choppy again, you can see that the light source is definitely necessary. Just the way that the way that Studio Wildcard has their PvP server set up, there is no PvP gamma enabled on their official servers. Same for this game. So you're going to need those light sources. However, it's a give and take, you know, high risk, high reward kind of thing. Obviously you got that light source, people know where you're at, and they can try to stalk you and hunt you and kill you in the middle of the night and that kind of stuff. But you kind of need it to be able to see. I cannot function off of 4 frames a second. So we're just going to talk about a couple of final notes, and then we're going to cut to the rest of this video. I do not want to just cause you guys and myself any further suffering off of 5 freaking frames a second. So you gather, and the things that you gather actually contribute to skills. Let's open up the skill tree. Ah, that freaking frame rate. All right, these are your skill trees. They are locked both by level and what you have learned prior. So in straw work, you'd have to be level 5 before you could start building straw work foundations, that kind of stuff. Woodwork, you'd have to be level 20. Stonework, level 35. You can see it all right there. It's very self-explanatory. The one thing that I really like, as my frame rate goes back up, the one thing that I really like about this game is when you get on those unofficial servers and people talk about admin abuse and that kind of stuff, it's slightly harder to have admin abuse. I mean, it's still going to happen every now and then, but it's slightly harder because the admins not only would have to give themselves enough experience to hit level 60, but they would also have to admin spawn in items. And if they have not invested into these skills in terms of gathering the items needed, crafting the items needed to level up these skills, they're going to constantly have to spawn in those items. It's a huge thing I love about it. I loved it when Skyrim implemented it, where you could level up separate skills just by doing them, and I really like the way that it's implemented in this game as well. The other stuff we actually talk about later in the video, taming and that kind of stuff. Building in this game is a little bit different from Ark. It's very, very similar, but it's also slightly different as well. Other than that, I think it's time to go ahead and cut to the rest of the footage. I'm just going to give you guys a sneak peek. Our goal in the rest of the video is to get up to there, and we have a few obstacles getting up there because that's not a very easy spot to get to. Anyway, I will see you guys after this quick montage. All right, welcome back, everyone. We made it to the top of this little mountain after I'm not even going to count how many times we died.
Let's go with all the times.
All the times. Every time you could die, we died. But if you see down there through all the mist and the fog and everything, that right there, actually the fog's clearing up. That is the city. I wanted to get up here because this is actually a really good building spot in terms of PvP and everything else. So I am missing my things. I also wanted to show you guys down here on the bottom left of the hotbar. I'll show you right there where it says Alt. You have two separate hotbars. So for some reason I put my foundations and walls in here. Oh well. We're going to toss some walls on this. It's like a 5x4 foundation. We're going to get some of these walls set up and get a basic little square. That, I have a Kibo butt sticking through my wall.
Well, that's because that Kibo, he's selfish, and he wants to share things that I don't want to be shared with.
Like our house?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially our house. I told him to leave, and he said that apparently there's a party here. I don't know who sent out that memo, but it definitely wasn't me. I did not send out a memo like that.
All right, he's a level 48. I'm going to spin these upgrade points real quick. I am slowly losing health because of the temperature up here. So that's no good. We really should try to get into ranged crafting for taming this guy. So I think that if we can't, because this is level 48, and Kibo's really good at stone and that kind of stuff. Let me check my health.
They're good all around. Just
health is going up now. So just I don't want to be that guy that constantly compares this game to Ark. So this is going to be the one and only time that I do it through the rest of the series. This game has so many similarities to Ark, but so many differences in just the right spots that I absolutely love it. And just like Ark, it has a temperature element, as you can see right there on the bottom right down here. I'll just explain these. So obviously food, stamina, water, how much your carry weight is. These two are kind of new in comparison to Ark. This is, I explained earlier, this is going to be how tired your character is, and you can change that with eating more flowers. There is a cap on that will slowly reduce over time, and I believe it takes like a couple of weeks in game by the time before that cap basically drops to the point where your character absolutely has to sleep. This other one is your mana. And then the long bar at the bottom is obviously your health. Right here on the side is your temperature. I don't really know how to change that to Fahrenheit. I am an American and I'm not overly familiar with Celsius. What I do know is 0 Celsius is freezing. So I would assume that 4 Celsius is extremely cold. Then you have your status effects here. However, unlike Ark, if you hold your H button, I'm not seeing any explanations on these things. There may be something in the key bindings that I just haven't found yet, but I haven't found it yet. The other thing, your skill trees, knowledge. So ranged crafting, I need to start crafting spears and throwing knives if I want to boost this up quicker. And once I get to the next level here, I can start crafting wooden bows, stone-tipped arrows, and iron hook arrows. So I think that's going to be our next task, is trying to increase our ranged crafting. And it's also going to, go up from harvesting twine from trees, which is going to be necessary for all of the straw working to do these things. So with that being said, I will see you guys on the other side of this transition while we get our house built up and do some things. All right, guys, we're back. Got about 50 hook arrows on my end. How many do you got, Chitty?
Math. 27.
Okay. So the taming strategy in this game is basically to hook it until it can't move anymore, and then you put down a feeding trough and you put in their preferred food in that feeding trough, and they eat from that feeding trough until they are tamed. If their taming, or rather their constitution, their torpidity, starts to go down, you can hook them again with the arrows. A couple of things that I've seen in videos that I want to test out today is, first and foremost, that you can do more torpor damage or more constitution by, instead of tacking your arrow to the ground after you shoot it, by keeping it attached. Now the thing is this guy's level 48. We don't even have a saddle for it yet, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to tame, so I don't know how smart it's going to be to stay attached to this thing. But it's worth a shot, I guess. So a couple of ground rule tactics, I guess, Chitty. I'd have to say,
I'm just warning you, if it slaps me, I'm hooking the thing into the ground and I'm running.
I don't blame you. What do you think, Chitty? Do you think we can do this?
Yeah. My main thing was pretty much hook him and wing it. But your plan sounds so much more thought out. Oh God! Don't run at me. Okay, he. Dude. Kodo. Why is he obsessed with me?
He loves you.
Oh my God, no, I will not hug you. You are a bad monster. Oh God.
Don't die, Chitty. Just run. You're doing really good kiting him.
Oh God. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I feel like a real meat shield right now.
Oh, he's coming.
How does your short leg still run faster than me? Maybe it's because I'm still hooked to his face.
Yeah, he's big enough. He was dragging me around, man.
Oh God. Oh God, I'm out of stamina. Oh, thank God. Thank God for you stopping to try to slap me into oblivion. Yeah, I hooked him and he instantly was like, oh, we want to be friends. And I don't understand it. Go
Well,
down.
you're doing a really good job.
Oh God, Jesus. Well, I think the biggest thing is the fact that, oh God, he's dragging me. No,
Oh, he's down.
come.
He's down. Oh my God, we got him down. I did not expect that to
Success!
actually happen. How many?
How do you like me now?
I have 9 hook arrows left.
I have like 4, I think. No, I have 20 because
Okay.
I stayed hooked onto him for a while.
Let's run back over here and check. Ooh, apples are good. Yes.
Enjoy your apples that I put in your system there. Wild Kodo, Kibo, whatever your name is.
Grab that. All right. Cool. I'm going to run back over here, guys, and we will explain these taming bars right after I put the rest of this stuff in the taming. Holy crap. Apples and freaking berries.
He's got great stats.
Yeah, he's got really good stats. I like this. So you cannot access their inventory while they're knocked out. So one of the things that that basically compensates for that is you can see his. That is so scary. He's like, I'm eating an apple.
Yeah, he gets into it.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, guys, as you can see right here on the screen, let me get my cursor. All right. He's got 880 health, 760 stamina, 190 mana, 150 oxygen, I think that is, 4,200 food, 462 weight, and 150% melee damage. So a little bit about these stats. Mana, I'm going to guess that it's just a blanket stat system until they kind of refine it, because I'm pretty sure the Kibo does not use mana. It's pretty much a melee creature. However, that is so weird every time. I would guess that the dragons that breathe fire might use mana as a resource, but the other animals that don't have special attacks like that, I'm pretty sure that they don't have mana. As I just don't think that they use it. Down here at the bottom, you can see Taming, Wildness, and Constitution. So Constitution is basically this game's torpor, how close it is to waking up. As that bar goes to the left, it's going to be closer to waking up. And then the Taming percentage here. And then the next one is Wildness. So this, I would say, we are speculating that this is like its taming effectiveness. The higher this bar is, the more levels this animal is going to get post-tame. Let me get the console there off the bottom. Now, one of the things that I've noticed in the past couple of weeks of just, goofing around in this game, kind of learning it before starting this series, is the wild animals in this game seem to be significantly stronger than their tamed counterparts. It seems like the purpose of animals in this game is basically to get you from point A to point B and to gather stuff. Maybe the higher end animals like the Infernus dragon, which is also a fire dragon, and maybe the frost dragon. There's other animals that I have not seen in the game yet that are probably going to be released at a later date, like the Cyclops and the Mushan Beast. I'll actually check the bestiary and see if they have an actual name for it yet. But it's like a freaking Bronto with an island on its back. It's gigantic. I'm not seeing it immediately, and I don't want to insult your guys' intelligence, because you can look in your bestiaries as well. But I have not seen some of the animals in game yet, so they'll probably be released at a later date. But those late game animals are probably going to be a significant boost to players and tribes as compared to these early tames. I would I would say that it's arguable that a Kibo might be a mid-game tame. I think the wolf and the boar are probably early game. Maybe the Bagresh, which is like the hyena. Do you have any input on that, Shitty?
Yeah, the hyena is definitely early game. No matter, I don't want to say no matter, but definitely in the higher levels, it's still super squishy in comparison to some of the other things that you can get early game. I would definitely agree that a wolf might seem early game, but it's like a late early game tame in comparison to like a boar where it's super early game tame. Just because it doesn't need a saddle, but it does generally have more health and better attack stats, which is great, especially if you need a carnivore and you can't go and grab, a panther right off the bat because that's just suicide. Um, but yeah, definitely I would say the Kibo is probably mid game, and who knows, maybe he does use mana. You don't know. He could be a wizard. You don't
Let's
know.
let's check
Don't
writing.
judge him.
Let's check writing and see what the game says. For your first saddles, you can learn the boar and the horse saddle. Your next set of
Right.
saddles are the stag and the deer. The next set of saddles, which is at level 15, you can learn the bargesh, the arachne, which is the spiders, and the sturge. The sturge is like this like bug that does not fly, but it can glide over the top of water. So it's like an all-terrain mount, but like I can't wait to tame one and show you guys, but its movement is so weird. It just like bounces across the screen. At level 20, you can learn the Vrak, which will be your first flying mount, the Longhorn, and the Kodo saddle, which actually applies to this guy. So I would say in terms of how many tiers there are here, there's 8, and at rank 4, so literally halfway through the tree, is the saddle for the Kibo. I'd say it's fair to it's fair to say that this guy's a mid-game tame, and it's intended to be a mid-game tame.
Well, most likely. I mean, he does have multiple attacks. Well, I mean, where most creatures do, except for very few. But I mean, I'm pretty sure we saw that his ability to just kind of bring that right hand of justice down onto the ground is kind of useful. Let's just go with that.
Yeah. I do want to toss it out there that this is this is probably not a very easy tame. I know we made it look kind of easy with the kiting and the running in circles and all of that. That comes from quite a few thousand hours of Ark experience in taming. Okay, I lied earlier. That's the second time I'm going to reference Ark. It comes from a lot of experience in knowing the AI of the animals, how they spin, that kind of stuff, staying out of their swipe range. And it's really not that hard to learn those things, see how they attack, study their attacks, that kind of stuff. I would say a brand new player to this game, somebody who's never played a game in this genre, I would say going for a level 48 Kibo was probably not the smartest decision, especially for episode 1. But we didn't really have a boar or anything else logical to tame. He was kind of stuck in the house for the longest time. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I would say my ability to continue to run was the fact that I was probably pooping my pants. So let's just go with that.
So this will be the last thing that I show you guys before we cut off this episode and figure out how long it ran. What I'm doing right now, as I'm watching his taming go up, but his constitution is going down, I'm kind of just judging how quickly those bars are moving, and I'm trying to add a little bit of torpidity to him. So what you do is you get your arrow, you shoot it, you back up as far as you can now that it's stopping me, and you plant the arrow. Or whatever that's called, the little plant in the ground there. And that's going to help raise his constitution. As you can see there at the bottom of the screen, his constitution is raising, and it's going to keep him asleep for that much longer. So with that, I think that kind of...
Well, there's an update now, because before with updating, when you would do this arrow trick, it would do 0 damage. You wouldn't see any health drop on that, and the constitution would rise. Now the hook arrows appear to do 1 damage and raise the constitution. So I don't know. why
Actually,
they changed that.
I appreciate you pointing that out, because if you look at the wildness bar, it is just the tiniest little sliver from cap. And I'm not entirely certain that that is a natural occurrence. It may have been a result of me shooting it.
I don't know. Huh. I'm gonna have to pay more attention to that to figure that out.
So I think
wasn't an
that
issue.
I do think that kind of wraps it up for what my intent was for this first episode. Kind of a quick, get some levels. I hit my personal goal. I hit level 10. I learned some things. We can talk about the skill trees here really quick. You've got 3 separate skill trees. As you level up, you've got prerequisites in order to learn. So like woodwork, for example, you have to hit player level 20, but you also have to know straw working. And it just happens that like that's the way that the game is set up. But if for whatever reason you were on single player and you did the cheat to add experience to yourself to be level 20, you would have to go into straw work and at the very least unlock the rank 1 schema in order to get into woodwork. And I only know that because I did it in single player because I wanted to see what all I could unlock by adding experience. And the way that this game is set up, I can add player experience, but I cannot add skill experience, which I really like. It really prevents really bad admins on servers from being just that, bad admins. Sure, you could have a guy that's level 60 and he's got decent player stats, and maybe he can spawn items in to give himself or build or whatever, but he's not going to be able to do that naturally. He would have to raise those skills on his own, go out and do all the farming and everything that everybody else has to do. So I mean, yeah, he can spawn items in, but he still has to physically do all the things that everybody else has to do in order to raise those skills. With that, I feel like this episode's probably going to be a little bit long depending on the cuts and everything. So I think we're going to go ahead and close it out. That's going to be it for the episode. Be sure to check out Mad Funny Nerds, link in the description, and I will see you guys next time.
Hey, before you take off, I just want to say one more time, thank you for watching the video, and if you did like it, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, and also, be sure to check me out over on social media, and I'll see you guys next time.